everyone hates a really bad salesman.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's the same with like a recruiter. Everyone hates a really bad recruiter.
Yeah.
Cause like I posted those screenshots and everyone was just like making fun of him and laughing. It's just like, yeah, I was getting the same one and stuff. But then you reverse that and think about like a really, really good recruiter. Think about a really good salesman.
But on the other end, like even the people who suck at recruiting and they're launching those like copy and paste DMs, like it is like funny to like make fun of. But at the same time, it's like, if they weren't doing that, like if you don't believe in your company enough to just go and launch some DMs to people, it's like, why are you there?
Welcome everybody out to the D2D Podcast. Got a Golden Door deep dive segment for you. We're blessed to have Karsen Bleazard with us, the one and only. And I said his last name right. It's said different than it's spelled. Actually,
sure. Yeah.
He's rocking the beanie. He's here to ready and roll, dude. How the hell are you,
dude? I'm good. It's good to be here.
Dude, it's good to have you here. Like I hit you up like a couple months ago. I don't remember, but like we kind of played a little back and forth, and then finally we're like, dude, we gotta get you in here.
Yeah,
so
I was still knocking.
You're still knocking. Yeah, because I hit you up in like mid-October, and you didn't stop till Halloween.
October 31st. Yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, I'll let you tell your story, but I want to plug it in real quick because I think it's absolutely badass. So, guys, Karsen hits his golden door August 11th. Stays out till Halloween, October 31st. He hits that milli. He's getting the 1,000 accounts, 1,002 accounts even.
1,002.
I love that. So you hit the 1,000, 2 more for good measure, just in case they cancel. So, you know, I've always been saying this on the podcast, but the guys that have that kind of determination to finish after they've hit a big mile mark, it speaks volumes. But dude, I want to hear your story. How'd you get in the industry? Walk me through your progression.
So just like a lot of people, I got recruited by my older brother's best friend. He went out and did TV and loved it. And then he recruited me the next year. So I went out with him in 2020, COVID year. Went out, loved it.
Where'd you go?
Des Moines, Iowa.
Ooh.
That's a honey hole for TV. A lot of old people out there. Went to Des Moines in 2020, loved it. Thought I was going to do TV forever. That off season, I was bought in for TV. Like I was blitzing. We were doing just ready to roll. And then right before 2021 summer, I got in touch with McKay Roberts.
Shout out
to McKay Roberts, a dog. Taught me almost everything I know in door to door.
Holy Titan.
He recruited me over right before the summer, like a week before. I was like, all right, yeah, I'm coming out. Then we went to DC that year, 2021. And then I've been with Grit ever since. The 3 years of the Grit, 4 years total.
Dang, so match made in heaven. How'd you meet McKay?
It's funny, I was trying to recruit, so it's kind of like so McKay's wife's oldest brother married my best friend's sister.
Okay.
And so I was trying to get my best friend to come out and sell with me. And he was like, well, I'm talking to this other company. It's like my kind of brother-in-law, like my sister's brother-in-law. Like, I don't know, I think I kind of like want to go out with them. I was like, all right, well, I'll meet with them. I'll tell them no. And be like, no, dude, that doesn't make sense. Like,
I'll meet with them just to tell them no.
Just to tell them no, so that way you'll come out and sell with me. Because I was just so hard on the TV train. I was like, dude, Pest is the dumbest thing ever. Why would you go and sell pest control?
We've all been there. We've all been brainwashed.
Oh, I was and I was bought in. Like, I was so hard on the screw pest train. So I met with them and then got on a recruiting call with McKay Roberts and Josh Nielsen, the owners of the Grit. And then I was like, okay, they might have something going here. And then the next day we got on like a 5-hour long Zoom call. I was asking every question in the book about pest. I didn't know what contract values were or like.
Amazing.
There was no percentages in TV and no contract value. It was just like a tiered thing where you kind of got a flat rate depending on a bunch of different things. And so I was just like I had tons of questions, but yeah, they made it made sense and
they got you in.
Out. They got me.
Isn't that the funniest thing? I've seen this happen so many times where it's like, yeah, I'm meeting with other guys. I'll meet with you just to like for the courtesy of it. And then they walk away and they're like, I think we have a winner.
Yeah.
I think that's our guy.
we went back and forth for a lot. I was in, then I was out, and then I was in, then I was out. But finally I texted McKay and I was like, dude, like I'm 100%, like I said this like almost word for word. I'm 100% not going out with Grit this summer. I'm staying with my company. like there's no point in like me coming up to Orem to go to the office. Like there's no chance that I sell for Grit. And he's like, dude, just come up just for me. And I was too nice to tell him no. So I drove up to Orem, went to the office, and they got me. But I literally told them I'm 100% not gonna sell with the Grit.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. It's so funny. And like, this is something I've been thinking about because today looking through like my Instagram DMs, I got hit up by like 4 different companies that sent the same copy paste message. I was like, bro, looks like you're killing it in D2D. Yeah. Or like whatever it is. And one guy was like, I see you follow Active. How'd you do this summer? I'm like, oh my freaking gosh. Dude. Yeah. Like the worst, like most generic, like, I mean,
paste.
Shout out to people recruiting. It's a hard thing to do.
I respect it. Launching,
mad respect.
Yeah.
Even just sending mass DMs. Like I've done that before, like
for sure.
for D2D experts and stuff. It's tough. There's a lot of work that goes into it, but at the same time, it's like, it's one of those things where like you kind of think about it. And this was my main thought this morning. I'm like, you know what? Everyone hates a really bad salesman. Mm-hmm. And like, it's the same with like a recruiter. Everyone hates a really bad recruiter. Yeah. Cause like I posted those screenshots and everyone was just like making fun of him and laughing. It's just like, yeah, I was getting the same one and stuff. But then you reverse that and think about like a really, really good recruiter. Think about a really good salesman. It's amazing. Like to have like a recruiter that knows how to tailor to you and they care and they answer your questions. They spend 5 hours on a Zoom with you. Yeah. To answer your questions.
And they didn't have like the premium Zoom.
Yeah.
So it was like,
you had to like restart it.
Calls. Yeah. I was like, all right, here's a new link. This one's about to end. Here's a new link. And I was like, all right, bet. But on the other end, like even the people who suck at recruiting and they're launching those like copy and paste DMs, like it is like funny to like make fun of. But at the same time, it's like, if they weren't doing that, like if you don't believe in your company enough to just go and launch some DMs to people, it's like, why are you there?
Exactly.
Like, obviously, like I sold for the Grit because I think it's the best option. And if I thought the X company was my best option, like I would be there. Yeah. But it's like another guy who sells the X company thinks it's his best option, so he's there. So like if you're not willing to even launch those DMs, like I respect just launching them because at least you believe in where you're at.
Yeah, and you don't care, like, you know, guys like me that make fun of you.
Yeah, for real. Like, definitely.
Because it's like, you know, I'm not your recruit, but you might get a guy. Yeah. And like,
you launch 100 and you get 5.
Yeah.
Like that's 5 more recruits.
Yeah. And shameless plug here, guys. If you actually are wanting to learn how to DM people properly, hit up Luke Maseko. Absolute legend in this field. He knows exactly what to do on how to DM people properly. Like I've sat in on his trainings and stuff and like I've helped him upload stuff to DDDU that we have. And it's absolutely awesome. So go check that out if you're actually like want to hack the DM thing. But anyways, shameless plug there. But anyways, yeah, it's amazing to like meet with like a solid recruiter, meet with someone that actually cares. Cause I've heard this said, we're in the era of like the worst salesman. Mm-hmm. And it's like, everyone hates the guy that's knocking on their door. Everyone hates the guy that's shooting in the DM. But when you get someone that's actually good and takes the pressure off of you to make a decision, it makes you feel like you're making a right decision. It's amazing being on the other side of that. And big shout out to McKay and big shout out to Josh for like providing that kind of experience for you guys. And I'm sure you carry that over into your own recruiting and whatnot. So I think that's absolutely awesome. And then, you know, they're spending 5 hours with you. Had you even signed at that point?
Oh, no, that was just the next day. I just had more questions because I was like, dude, what even is pest control? Like, how does it work? Yeah. So they were just like informing me on how pest control worked. I just had so many questions. And then I remember calling one of my friends that sold pest control and then they like mentioned attrition. And I was like, what is it? Because the TV, there's not like a ton. You get paid most of your money up front, tiny bit in the back end, but attrition isn't like a crazy deal. They like mentioned attrition, like what was their attrition? I was like, what's attrition? So then I had all these questions about like attrition and
dictionary.com, like, attrition.
Yeah. I was like, what's going on here? Like, so, and I was like, do they cancel before or after the service? Or like, what's the date? It was, I had tons of questions.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny when you're in this, you know, we're laughing about this before the podcast, but like that brainwashing of like, oh, Pest is the worst industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know, guys, if you're listening to this, if you're solar, if you're alarm, if you're roofing, whatever it might be, it's like, it's kind of one of those things. It's like, there's a lot of misconceptions about pest control. Yeah. There's a lot of misconceptions about, you know, solar. There's a lot of misconceptions about any industry that you might be in. And if we were saying this, it was like, you know, if you're good, if you have your head screwed on straight and you know how to work hard, you can make money anywhere you go, for one. But it's like, especially with pests, it's just so funny how it's like, sometimes we have that, like those blinders on, that tunnel vision, and we're like, oh, that sucks. I'd never go sell bug juice.
Yeah, I hated segways. They brainwashed me so hard that I hated segways. Like, why would you use a segway? That's the dumbest thing in the world. I'm like, yeah, we do look stupid on segways, but we save energy and we hit more doors.
Dude, it makes it like if you don't have wheels and you're knocking, like, what are you doing?
For real, like, yeah, you may look like an idiot. Suck it up. You'll hit more doors. You will sell more, and it'll pay itself off.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have a Segway, just get a Segway. You might as well. Like, actually, like, don't make it hard. It's already so hard.
It's already so hard.
You don't need to make it any harder by walking. Not that, like, walking isn't the hardest thing in the world, but when you have all the emotional energy going into trying to get deals, and then also you're walking all day, every day for 4 months, and then it all compounds. So just get a Segway.
Dude, I had a rookie that he's like, dude, I did 30,000 steps.
Yeah.
I was like, 30,000 steps? I'm like, dude, that's like more than Disneyland. Like,
I've got a picture of my Apple Watch from my rookie year when I didn't have a Segway. It's like 32,000 steps, like 12 miles, and I bageled that day. I was just grinding, trying to get one. And dude, shout out to the hustle. It was so funny. I was like, were you even in homes? Like, did you just walk all day, dude? I don't know how I had that much hood. Like, how many loops are you doing in that neighborhood? Yeah, I think I had to go to the bathroom, so then I had to like run to this gas station.
The 20-minute walk to the gas station.
Waste so much time. Just get a Segway. Gosh, it just makes sense.
Go knock on someone's door. Hey, I gotta go to the bathroom. Can I just step in real quick? Oh yeah, by the way, it's like I will never. It's so funny because I've been that rep before. Where like I'll knock or I'll walk 20 minutes in the blazing sun where like cars are passing you. It's like the highway. They're going like 40 miles an hour.
There's no sidewalk.
There's no sidewalk. It's like, you know, that like kind of like ditch. It's in the middle of the South, and it's like
stickers in your socks.
Socks. And it's like, dude, that sucks.
Oh, it sucks. It's not the place you want to be for sure.
And
especially not when it's prime time. It's 6 o'clock on your walking to a gas station and stickers in your socks, trying not to get hit by cars is not where you want to be.
Dude, what? Like, why do you think guys do that?
Dude, I think it's just because and the reason I did it is like, it was just what I knew. Like, they just said Segways were stupid, that you didn't need them. And so I was like, yeah, Segways are stupid. Like, it's just what I knew. But like, I don't think I've ever really met anyone that like knocks with a Segway and then goes back to walking. Yeah. Nobody. Like, we had one. Shout out Zack Cornfield. I was in Portland this summer. He was with me.
Oh, love
he was
that guy.
Hard. Oh, Zack Cornfield is
that guy. Massive shout out. Oh, yeah. One of the most like random dudes I've ever met in my whole life. Like, he comes in for the podcast. I'm like, you are so different than everyone I've ever met in my whole life.
He's all time. Zack. Yeah. I was with him the whole summer in Portland, and he is such a good dude. He's so funny.
Yeah.
But he was heavy, like no Segway. He's like, I'm going to do a golden door without a Segway. Like, he was so like no Segway. And then like midsummer, I kept I was like, dude, just try one of my, like, take this one for the day. Like, dude, just like use the Segway. Used it. And then he was like, dude, I'm not going back. Like, I'm not going back to walking. Like, he broke, well, I think it was even one of my Segways. He broke it and then had to walk the next day. And he was like, dude, I need another Segway. Like, you have an extra one? Like, I need another Segway. And I was like, dude, just go buy one. It'll get here in 2 days on Amazon. Go buy one. He's like, all right.
Dude, I'm dying. He wanted to do a golden door on foot.
That was his big thing. He was like, I'm going to do it on foot.
He's like taking pride in that. It's like, dude, you could probably do a double golden door if you have a Segway.
For sure. The Segway, I'm so hard on the Segway train. It's crazy now.
Oh, that's hilarious to me. Oh, gosh. But yeah, it's like energy conservation is such a huge part of this job. But it's like, you know, kind of going back to like, you know, the anti-Segway people, the people that are walking, wasting time. It's like the psychology of those guys. Again, it's like they don't really know any better. Mm-hmm. But it's like, you know, I think they're also just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Being in that, like in an environment where they're getting a lot of rejection. Teeth are getting kicked in. And it's like, you know, well, it's more comfortable for me to like do this, to walk to the gas station, to go do this, to go sit on the curb. But it's crazy to me because it takes hard work to go do that.
Yeah.
It's like walking when cars are like about to hit you on the side of the road in like 100-degree weather. That's a lot of work. That's like mental energy. And that's energy you could be putting on the doors.
For sure. And there is one argument where it's funny because when you're on a Segway, there's a bunch of people outside in their neighborhood and you got your iPad and you Segway past them. Like that is, you kind of got to suck your pride up a little bit and just like be this grown ass dude on a Segway.
Yeah.
Riding past them and they're like, hey, like you look weird. It is awkward for sure. You look like an idiot, but like, you just got to laugh at it and just like embrace it. And like, there's another argument I've heard like, well, like then they know you're a salesman, like right off the bat. It's like, yeah, they're
like, so like you're wearing, if you're wearing a polo and have an iPad, you're probably selling something.
It's like, they're going to find out at some point. Just own it. Like, what do you think they're okay? Would you rather be a salesman or just some random guy? They're like, who is this guy? I'm like either way, it's not a massive win to be a random dude on their porch without a Segway and they don't let them not know what you're doing.
Yeah. And it's even better, dude, if you just own it.
Yeah.
If it's just like,
oh yeah.
Because that's the funniest thing. It's like, I feel like the industry's really shifted into like kind of just owning it.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, instead of being like whammy dammy, like, oh, like the reason I'm here, I'm with the neighbors and blah, blah, blah. Like still do that, whatever. But like a lot of guys now it's just like knock the door. Obviously, hey, I'm selling something.
Oh yeah.
This is what we're doing with all the neighbors. Whereas before it was like, oh, hey, I'm not here to sell you anything. Yeah, like, I hate that line so much.
And that doesn't like, maybe that used to work and like it can work sometimes, but if you're in like any market where they've been knocked before, it's like, dude, they've heard it. Like,
oh, and they see right through it. The second you say, I'm not here selling you anything, they're like, you're full of crap. Get out of here.
Oh, really? So what are you trying to do then? It's like, well, I'm trying to sign you up for Pest. So you're selling something. Yeah, I am. Sorry.
That happened to me in Virginia Beach. I remember it was like one of my first couple weeks knocking in that area. And there was a guy, no soliciting sign, go knock the door. And he's just like, nope, not interested. And I was like, you get a lot of people here selling you stuff, don't you? And I said it was like so much confidence. And he's like, yeah. I was like, I'm not like them. I'm not here selling anything. And he's like, wait, really? I'm like, absolutely. He's like, well, what are you doing out here? I was like, oh yeah, we're just setting up the neighbors with the Vivint system. He's like, dude, you're selling me like just straight up. It was like all the walls. He's like, dude, you're selling me something. Yeah. And I walked away, tail between the legs. And I'm like, like, what the hell? Like, who taught me that line?
Yeah.
It's different in some industries, like solar. Sure. It's like, you're not selling the panel, you're selling the appointment. What do you know? However you're like, you know, confident and whatever you feel like ethically is like the right way to go about it. But anyways, it is the funniest thing that it's like, you know, if you do just own it, people respect that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. The amount of times people come out super pissed, like, are you selling something? And I just match them. Yeah, I am. I'm doing this, that, my tricks, whatever, go right into it. I'm just super to the point. They're like, oh, and then it totally just drops it. But if you try and beat around it, it's like lying to them and they just get pissed. Like they're just going to get mad. If someone comes out like that and then you try and be like, no, like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not. Then they just feel totally like, the psychology of whatever. I'm not super good at that stuff, but they don't like it. Just
they hate it.
Yeah. Just grab the bull by the horns, own it. You're on a Segway, you're selling something. It's great. It works. Yeah.
It works every time. No, it's funny. I've even had guys that like I'm friends with. It's like straight up their pitch is just like, hey dude, you get your door knocked on all the time. I know that. I don't want to take more time than I need to. Straight up. Have you ever thought about cameras before? Honestly.
Yeah.
Like with like the Vivint systems, and people were just like so taken aback. They're like, well, like, yeah, actually, yeah. What stopped you from doing it? Just busy. That's exactly why I'm here, dude. Yeah. Like, and then just go into it.
Nobody wants to be sold, but if you can break through that barrier, then it's like they actually like, oh yeah, actually, I was actually thinking about getting scripted. The amount of people that are like, no, hard no, and then they have ants in the kitchen. It's like almost every sale. Like everyone gonna give you that hard no, like right off rip. And they're going to say, no, I don't need pest control ever. 100% no. And then they're like, well, I do have some of those like ants. It's like, oh, so like, do you guys do ants? Yeah, I sell pest control. Like that's like the bread and butter. Yes, I do ants. Yes, ants. Yes. Where do you see them? Like, are you serious?
We got to get to the brass tacks of this.
I wonder if they ever like look at their Ring camera and see the interaction later and see them like themselves
totally like
hard
BSing.
no to okay, yeah, let's do this. And then they sign up. And I wonder if they ever look back at that through the Ring and they're like, damn, that guy got me. It's like, yeah, well, you had ants. You don't have ants anymore. Like that's, are you not like stoked you don't have ants? Yeah.
But again, it's like, the quality salesman, the good salesman, people love it.
Oh yeah.
Because it takes away the pressure. It takes away because initially that's the knee-jerk reaction is the no, but you break past that and people are stoked for the product.
Oh yeah.
It's like you said, they have ants in the freaking kitchen.
Yeah. Or you're signing them up, you get the card and you're going through the contract and then the justification starts happening. Well, I did have those ants last year. We did see a spider a couple months ago. It's like then the justification starts happening and then they're stoked about it.
Oh, seriously. It's so funny. It's like my mom's like that where she can't stand door-to-door guys, like can't stand pest guys. And she's like, yeah, we don't need pests. We don't need pests. And it's like, your basement is like full of dead spiders. Oh, yeah. Like, I don't know if you've seen it. It's bad. Like, I think, that's something you should probably get. Like, next guy that knocks on your door, like, I probably would go buy from him.
just say no a couple times. And then just do it. Yeah.
Let him do his thing. But anyways, I want to dive into a little bit of like your story over the past summer, because this is your first Golden Door. Mm-hmm. So first question, what made you want to get a Golden Door?
I think for me personally, wanting to get a Golden Door, it was a lot of it. For me, a lot of it was just like, I wanted to really push myself. In high school, I never really pushed myself to like do anything. I was pretty naturally talented at like most things I did. But then as soon as it did get hard or like my natural talent ran out, I would quit. And so from that first summer, I really kind of realized like I could be good. And I saw like the potential that I had in door-to-door. And so when I heard about the Golden Door, as soon as I switched to the grit, I kind of heard about the Golden Door. They told me what it was. And from then on out, I was just like, this is something that I've gotten really good at. I have never done this in the past. I've never really pushed myself to like get to the point where you're good and then like go past that, like go past what my natural talent could get me. And so when I heard about the Golden Door, I was like, yeah, I want that. I just wanted to be like one of the best, because I've never really have done that in anything else, even though I could have, whether it was like football or basketball or wrestling in high school. Every time it got like hard or like my natural talent ran out, I just quit. And so door-to-door, for whatever reason, I just kind of fell in love with it. And I was like, no, I'm going to get like really, really good at this.
Yeah.
I want to get like really, really, really good. And it just happened. And then kind of one thing led to another, and got a Golden Door.
And here we are.
Here we are. Yeah.
Here we are today. So let me ask you this. So, you knew, hey, I want to be really, really good at this. Mm-hmm. How did you get really, really good at this?
Just like this simple answer, you probably heard a ton. It's the hard work for sure. It's everything, but you got to have the desire to do it. Like Zack here, so you got to be obsessed. Get obsessed with like what you want and get really clear with like, this is what I want. This is why I want it. Because if you're just doing it for like the money or for something like superficial or like for like all the reasons that people want a Golden Door, there's 1,000. Not saying anything is like a bad reason, but if you're not, I think money is a bad reason. Actually, I take that back. But if it doesn't mean something to you, when it gets hard, when it starts stacking up, everyone's gonna quit because it's not bigger. The shit pile becomes bigger than your why, and as soon as that happens, you're not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's just like really getting the desire for it, really getting clear on why I want it. It's pretty like everyone talks about, like what's your why, and then you dive into your why.
Yeah,
well,
the cheesy why.
Right? But it's like you have to get like really clear and like figure out exactly like what it is that you want. You decide, what do you want? I wanted a Golden Door. What does it cost? And then you just have to like pay the price.
Yeah.
And that's where like people get confused, is they know what they want, but they don't know how much it costs. And then when it comes time to pay the price, if you don't know how much it costs, you're not going to pay. You're going to back down every time.
100%, especially when they kind of get a taste for what it costs. Yeah. They're like, that gas station looks pretty good.
Oh yeah, the gas station. Yeah, if you don't know exactly what you want, you're not clear on that, and you don't know exactly like what it is going to cost. When the gas station, when the demons pop in, and they do every time, they always do, you have no chance.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You got to like rewire your brain to like, you know, for those winning habits. You know, when those demons come up, you habitually like, no, I don't do that. Mm-hmm. Like I keep knocking.
For sure. And I think the how it comes down to, because a lot of people that want to do Golden Door and they're like, okay, I'm going to train, I'm going to do all these different things. And like, I think one of the best things you can do is elevate yourself. And if you want a Golden Door, don't just practice your pitch, get more well-rounded as an individual. Ooh. 100%. Because if you're becoming a better salesman, you push yourself in one thing, it's going to elevate everything else. Don't forget to elevate everything else because it's going to help you elevate your sales. And I think that was a big thing, is like getting really consistent with like going to the gym or stuff like that. If you have that consistency outside of sales, it's a lot easier to have that consistency inside of sales, because so many people sit around all off season. They don't have like structure. They don't have any sort of like consistency during the off season, but they're going to the office at like 3:00 and training for an hour every day, which is great. Yeah. But then when it comes time to get the consistency during the summer, you're not going to flip 180 and start waking up on time and doing all these different things when you haven't been doing them for like the last 8 months.
100%. Yeah. Those habits carry over.
Oh, in everything you do. There's parallels in everything.
How you do one thing is how you do everything.
Exactly. Yep.
And I think you bring an interesting point up, because it's like, you know, when you're talking about like, you know, become a more rounded person, like work on you. It's like, shout out to my, you know, one of my mentors, Doug Cartwright, who always says, he's like, you know, if you're struggling in sales, odds are you don't have a sales problem. Odds are you have an internal problem that if you fix, will fix what's going on externally.
For sure.
And he worded that a little bit different when he told me that, but it was like, yeah, it's like interesting to think about, because it's like, is it when we sell, do we need to know the product or do we need to know people? Like, what's more important to know? It's like, I could know jack crap about the product, but if I have a wealth of people knowledge and can connect with people and they can kind of see that transparency, it's game over. All I need is just an iPad with a video that explains what the product does.
Exactly. That's actually so facts. The amount of people like rookies, I see it a lot, and I did this. My first day selling, I knew nothing about the product. I knew nothing, but I was just like, screw it. Like, I'm kind of just going out, like having fun. Like, I don't know the pitch. I don't know anything. My first day selling TV, I sold 3, which was really good for TV, especially for a rookie. Yeah. And it was just because I was just talking to people, and I didn't have a huge weight because I didn't like train really much. I was just kind of there, and I was like, all right, well, I do TV. Like, what channels do you watch? Like, it was super genuine, authentic, and I got deals because of it. I knew nothing about the product.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Sometimes we box ourselves in trying to like, oh, well, like I got to learn the pitch and I got to do it like that. When in reality, it's like how you do it untrained actually might work.
For sure.
And again, I'm not saying to like not learn about the product. Yeah. I'm not saying to not learn like your pitch, not learn your process, like for sure go out and do that. Yeah. I just think we definitely underestimate like what we naturally can do and how we naturally can converse with people. And like, and especially it's like if we work on that part of ourselves, because if we become so money obsessed or something like that, people can see that. But if we become people obsessed, people can see that too.
For sure. And huge shout out to the sales therapist, Cory Clark. I worked with him, and that was huge. Just like, I was never like growing up, especially where I was raised with like my dad, it was like kind of just like the stay hard Goggins, no feelings really kind of. Yeah. And it's like, now that I've worked with Cory, I was like, I think everyone should have a therapist. Like you just talk to him, like he's super cool guy. Oh yeah, I love Cory. He's done the job, and it's just the perspective that he gave me of like on the doors, not taking it like personal, was like huge. So huge shout out to Cory Clark. Like,
huge shout out. Love Cory. He's a good friend of mine. He'll be at D2D Con as well.
For sure.
Unfortunately, he won't be speaking, but he's got a vendor booth. So go up and talk to him. He's a nice guy. Yeah. I think 100% like worth every penny.
It was definitely worth every penny.
Like he's probably worth even double that.
Oh yeah, triple. Like
he's absolutely incredible. But it is interesting. It's like just the psychology of all of it, and how we take rejection and how we like process our emotions. it's like a very underrated part of it. Cause you got guys that just like kind of just goggins it and just like, you know, turn their brains off and just will go and do. But then you got guys that are just like very methodical, very like, you know, kind of take every word that people say as like fact.
Personally.
You know, you take it personally. Every smoke screen is a real thing. Like what are some of your like tips and tricks for overcoming that?
Just realizing they're not like they're not saying no to you. Like they're saying no to like the product. They're saying no to pest control. It has nothing to do with you. Even though you can do, like there's things that you can do to get rid of that, like to release that like sales tension or like get their guard down. But it's just being you, like not caring what they say. I think what I do is like, it's like you'll never, and Alex Hormozy put something, it's like they're not gonna be at your funeral. You're never gonna see any of those people ever again. They're not gonna be at your funeral, and that doesn't matter. It's like whatever they say, even if they just completely just like, if they just like just crap on you and they just like no, slam the door in your face.
Yeah.
It's like more of a reflection on them than it is on you. And then also you have no idea what's going on behind the door. They could have just gotten in a fight with their wife, their kids, something like bad could have like, there's 1,000 different things that can be going on behind the door that you have no idea is going on. So like one interaction at one given point in time, they could have been cut off on their way home from work.
Yeah.
And then traffic and they're just grumpy. Has nothing to do with you. It's more a reflection on them. So like don't jeopardize your own self by like letting that get you down and then getting pissed. You carry that energy to the next door. It's like, you're never going to see them again. It's just random people. You're knocking on their, like for me, like I'm riding a Segway around their neighborhood, knocking on their door, selling them pest control. And they all just shit on me all day and think that I'm just like scraping by. It's like, okay, like cool. Like have a good day. Take care.
Exactly. And you know, honestly, it's kind of even just selfish to like walk away and take that rejection personally. Because like you said, you don't know what they're going through.
For sure.
It's like, dude, their kid could have just died.
Yeah.
Or something crazy. And you're making it about you. And it's like, that's the worst thing you could be doing. And like
100%.
Bodie Gardner had an interesting approach to like people that were like that. He would just look at him and be like, sounds like you've had a rough day. You want to tell me about it?
Yeah.
And just like sincerely like looked him in the eye and was like, tell me about it. And like he's had people like break down in tears and like, you know, just think crazy things going on. And it's like, yeah, imagine if he walked away, took it personally, wore it on his chest and let it affect the rest of his day.
Or like some guy's mad and then you go back at him and like you be a dick. And then you're on the Facebook and then the whole neighborhood hates you and you're so alien. Like you're an alien in the neighborhood. You feel like you don't like everyone. Cause then on the next door, you're like, you carry that energy because you just blew up on this guy and it just like goes and that compounds.
Yeah.
So it's like, I try and always I'm compounding like good energy. I'm on to the next one.
Yeah.
Who cares about those last ones because it doesn't matter. I'm on to the next one. It's like the door that you're on is the most important door.
Totally.
The last door doesn't matter and the next one you're not there yet. So like focus on this one because this is where you are.
100%. Yeah. Guys that are lippy on the doors. It's like, come on.
Dude, it sucks knocking behind them. It's like, what? I'll go through some neighborhoods and I'm like, what the hell did the last guy say to these people? Like dang, all right. Like, sorry, that guy was like,
dude, that's
bad.
when I whip out.
I promise I'm not I'm like just a normal guy. Like you can talk to me. I'm not scary. I promise.
Oh, dude. Yeah. That's when I whip out like the baby face and the smile. Like sometimes I'll like just like be clean shaved when I knock just to like look like I'm 18 and just like give him the smile. Just be like, wow. Like, this guy sounded like that guy sounded nuts. Good thing I'm totally different.
Really? Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway,
like it's crazy what some people will say on the doors. Like, nuts.
It really is. You'll see like clips on Instagram and stuff, and it's like, oh dang, like no wonder everyone like you get a vibe in some neighborhoods. Everyone just like hates you. It's like okay, right? Because like someone came by and did something like that. Yeah,
but it's cool because it's like if we, you know, it's a challenge, something to overcome. It's something that isn't even that big of a deal.
No,
because. You know, that's just maybe like something you have to, you know, pre-frame a little bit. It's like, hey, I know there was a guy that came around the neighborhood. He was kind of wild with people. This is something totally different. And if it's not for you, no big deal.
Yeah.
Like I'm total opposite of that guy.
Yeah. Or even the power of like a smile goes like so big. Like dude, a huge smile. It's like people like, I think it's so like sometimes even when I'm getting like just worked the hardest and I haven't gotten a deal in hours and I'm just getting shit on, it's like, I'll just like try and smile as big as I can, like the most like a cheesy, big smile, just like stoked. And people come out and they're just like, why is this guy so happy?
Yeah.
Like, because they're just doing their normal life. And like, why is this guy so happy on my porch? Like, they get curious. Because a lot of people don't like smile like that. You walk around, like, start looking at people, like, no one looks like super, super happy. So when someone knocks on their door and they're just stoked on life, one of the shittiest jobs there is, they're just like, why? Why is he so happy?
What's going on?
All right, like, I'll listen to him. Like, okay. And then you get him to listen to you. It's game over.
I know. Yeah. It's like, it's amazing what it does to just like de-escalate people.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've knocked doors where that's been the case, where I'm like, just like super smiley, look like I don't have a care in the world. And they're like, what do you, what's going on?
You can see like you can see the table like
shift. You can see it.
They come out and then it's just like, hey, how's it going? They're like, what do you good? It's like, yeah. Good.
Like, it's
nice.
like,
I'm Karsen.
what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you look like a Mormon, but you don't have another guy with you.
Yeah. Where's the other one? Why are you in a white shirt? Oh.
Are you from Utah?
Actually.
Good stuff. But it is wild, the way that psychology works. And especially because like Portland, that was a pretty saturated area.
Oh yeah.
And so you're having to differentiate yourself, and you're knocking behind a lot of guys. And you're doing a lot of switchovers. You're doing a lot of things that guys are like typically kind of afraid to do. What do you think is the psychology behind like kind of reframing your mind around stuff like that?
Like heavy, like when it's been like saturated market, it's been knocked. I think it's just the last guy wasn't you. Like, okay, like people say all the time, like, oh no, like I already said no, like we're good. We already talked to someone. So you didn't talk to me.
Yeah.
Like it's that like almost confidence of just like just knowing that like what you have, like there, for me, Portland was a lot more saturated than like I wasn't expecting it to be as saturated as it was. I guess I just didn't think that it would be, but then I got there, I was like, holy, there's a lot of companies here. But it's almost like when the hood's like never been knocked, they like don't know what door to door is. It comes with its own challenges too. So it's like
100%, because then they don't trust you. They don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, they're way confused. They heard that someone was selling books like 10 years ago, but they don't know, or vacuums, and they don't know like really so that brings its own challenges up. Everything has its own challenges.
Pick your hard.
Yeah, pick your hard and then just go. So when it was more competitive than I thought it was, I got out there and I was just like, well, if I go somewhere else, there's going to be this. If I go somewhere else, it's going to be this. This is what I have to work with. Let's just turn this into a W.
Yeah.
It's like perfect. There's a lot of people knocking here. That means there's a need for pest control. Just make do with what you have.
Yeah, hammer that.
Yeah, just go.
And it's crazy because it's like, I love what you said. It's like they haven't talked to you.
Yeah.
And it's like, I remember knocking in some saturated areas and just being like, well, the last guy was probably better than me. Bullshit.
No, no. If you're telling that the last guy was probably better than you, I don't care if you're a rookie, you've never knocked a door in your life. You should be telling yourself between every door, if it's your first day, I'm the best to knock this hood ever. Everyone, self-talk and like positive self-talk is so huge, especially between the doors, because one little negative thought creeps in and it just is such a spiral effect. I think my biggest days this summer for sure were days, not that I didn't have a goal. Every day I had like a goal that I wanted to hit, but were days that I wasn't as focused on my goal, but I was more so focused on like my inputs, being positive, no negative thoughts throughout the whole day, working all the hours. The days where that was like my main focus and my main intention of the day were my biggest days for sure. Just
absolutely.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, and it's nuts because it's like, I said this earlier, it's like we're in the era of the worst salesman ever. So it's like, odds are they were horrible. Odds are they knocked the door and we're just like, I'm doing pest control. You want it?
Yeah. And that's a lot of the time how it is. They get one hard no and they're out.
Yeah. And it's like, go break through their smoke screens, break through their crap. You definitely got this.
Yeah. Or they knocked through like the hood one time, then 90% of the people didn't answer. Like most of the people probably didn't even answer them.
Yeah.
Like they didn't talk to that many people, and sales is such a timing thing. So like even if there's been 5-6 guys through your neighborhood already this year, it's such a timing thing. Maybe the last guy caught them right when they got cut off in traffic, and then you're catching them right when they get news that they just got a raise.
Yeah.
Maybe you're catching them the day they got paid. Maybe like you're catching them like at a better time than they were. So you never know. Every door, regardless of who's knocked it before. Even like there's when we'll re-knock neighborhoods, and I'll knock a neighborhood 2 months behind McKay Roberts, and I'll rip. And McKay Roberts is dog. He's good.
Yeah.
He's so good. He's one of the best, in my opinion. He's one of the best to ever do it. And I'll go, and I'm stoked to go behind McKay in the neighborhood. I'd rather not go behind him because he didn't piss anybody off. Yeah, he sold a bunch. Now I got a ton of bandwagon. Like, that's way better than some guy who came through, knocked 5 doors, pissed people off, and dipped.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
100%.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. It's so funny. And this is something like I've thought about before too, recently, where it's like, especially like when I first started, I remember knocking the door and being like, oh, I'm bugging them. I need to just get out of here as fast as I can. Let them be. It's like, that's more rude to me.
Oh, yeah.
Than anything else. If you're getting someone off their couch, they're in the middle of their thing, they're with their family, whatever it is, you talk to them for a couple minutes and you walk away and you didn't try.
Yeah.
And you were timid. It's like, dude, you're a dick for doing that.
Hate when you waste their time. Like, they hate it, and that's just wasting their time when you go up there and then kind of tiptoe around it, and then you don't even really try and sell them and just walk away. You're just wasting their time. People don't want to waste their time. So like, when you like have you're there and you have there with purpose and you're like intentional on that door, people are so like, I'll push people super, super hard, go the rounds with them, and they're not mad because like I wasn't wasting their time. They knew I was there to try and sign them up. They knew what I was there for, and it was clear. They knew I was there to try and like sign them up, and they're not pissed, even though I just went rounds and pushed them way harder than the last guy. Talked to him for way longer, but people like respect it. They're not like pissed.
They don't care. Yeah. They want that because they want you to, basically they're just saying, make this make sense to me.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. Add value to me. Solve my problem.
Yeah. Like,
figure this out. Because if you walk away without like figuring that out, you're a dick.
Yeah, they hate it. And if they don't they just don't know, maybe they don't think they have a problem, but they also don't know exactly what you're doing. Oh, you do pest control. People think of pest control and they're just like, oh, like, I don't have bugs right now. It's like, well, yeah, but like, remember you had them like last week? I'm like, oh yeah. Like, people don't want to tell you that. You just like, if you have intent and purpose, you don't waste people's time just by like knocking and then being timid and then walking away with your tail between your legs. People respect that way more, even if they don't buy.
Yeah. I'll never understand the guy that packs up his whole car, his whole life, moves across the country for 4 months, living with guys that they don't know. And you're going to be timid on the doorstep.
Yeah.
It's like you just put your whole life on pause, and just because you're a nice guy, you're going to walk away from someone that needs your product.
Yeah. Or like that could benefit from it for sure.
You know what I mean? It's kind of wild. And that's the thing. It's like, you just got to reframe your brain to think more like that. Because if you don't think like that, then it's like, you're just going to, every no is going to actually be a no. Yeah.
And you expand your mindset. Like, you're always expanding your mindset. Then you get into a new perspective, and you can see, that's why like, oh, like, this is the way I was doing from what you had this perspective. When you take a step back and look, it's like, okay, it actually makes way more sense. You're gonna get more deals. You're going to have more fun on the doors. And that's like the key to like selling more. If you're not like having fun, then no one wants to buy from someone who's like just pissed.
Oh, seriously. Or if like the weight of the whole world is just on their face, it's like they knock the door. You can like, it's like, everyone here has just hated me and I don't like this. It's like they don't say that straight up, but they can just see.
It's the vibe that's being given off.
Or it's just like, you're that kid that like I just see sitting on the curb or just walking around aimlessly. This is what you're doing. Like, obviously you're not like very good at this or successful. Like, I mean, that's not what they're like straight up thinking, but they're just like, this is an amateur.
Yeah. Even like McKay, he lives in, he's in Utah. He was outside like watering one of his plants one night, like just before dark. Kid walked past like an iPad. McKay was like, what the heck? He's like, hey, what are you doing? He was like, oh, I'm cleaning windows. He was like, nice. And then he was like, yeah, I have a good one. Just walked away. Didn't talk to him. And it's like, dude, you could have just gotten like a really
lay down.
Yeah, you just had a lay down at your fingertips and you didn't even take it. Like, people, it's like that guy asked you what you were doing, but he was probably just so like, he'd alienated himself from the neighborhood because he got like 3 or 4 hard no's. That was like, oh, like that guy doesn't want it. It's like, McKay probably would have gotten his windows clean. He probably would have been like, not like a lay down, but like you for sure could have gotten him. 100%.
100%.
Yeah. And he asked you what you were, like, he was curious. Like, dude, you had him, but you just decided to walk away because you had that timid, oh, I don't know, like, maybe he probably won't buy it.
And what's crazy, it's like, you mentioned this earlier, sales is a big timing thing. Mm-hmm. Hard to catch people home, especially decision makers.
Oh yeah.
He's out there. Step one is already done.
He can't close the door and you can't slam the door in your face.
Step one is already there. He's there. The decision maker's outside.
Yeah.
Or it's like they're taking the trash out, something like that. Hey, how's it going? Good.
Yeah.
Walk away.
Yeah.
Like, what, dude? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, he's taking his trash out. I didn't want to bug him. I'm like, dude.
So you want to get him off his couch instead?
Yeah, he's already outside. He's already by his mailbox. Just be like, dude, spray around this. Like, we're catching this before it gets to your house.
For sure.
It's ridiculous. So, we're talking about market saturation. You're knocking the door. They're like, oh, you're like the fifth or sixth guy that's knocked on our door. And, we talked about a couple ways to like differentiate yourself. But what is it you say exactly when someone's like, oh, you're the fifth guy that's knocked on my door?
If someone's like, oh, you're like the fifth guy, I'll say like something stupid like, oh, I promise I'll be your favorite. And I just go right into it. Like I just don't give it much weight. I'm not like, I don't give it a ton of time. I don't let it get to me too much. Maybe like the first couple doors in the neighborhood. Oh, you're like the fifth guy. Or really like, I'll kind of just like, oh, like who's here? Try and figure out who's here, gather some intel, like know who, if it was so-and-so, what companies was there. But I just don't give it the time of day. I'll say like some cheesy joke. Oh, I promise I'll be your favorite. Or I thought I was the eighth. Like, oh, I thought I'm only the fifth. I thought I was the eighth. Like you've only gotten 5, you're lucky. But anyways, and I just trying to go into it.
You've only gotten 5, you're lucky.
Yeah, it's like I just don't take it seriously at all. Like I'm just like, okay. And
because if you make it a big deal, it's a big deal to them. If you're like, oh my gosh, you've had how many guys here, and like, why haven't you gotten it? It's like, if you just make it funny, like, it disarms them right away.
I finished the summer in Dallas, and I had one lady came out. Dallas gets knocked a lot, and I had one lady come out. She's like, oh, you're like the fifth guy or whatever. Like people are always here. I'm like, I promise I'll be your favorite. And she's like, I promise you won't. And she signed up. Like
Let's go.
Like she said that, and then it was just like I didn't give much weight and I just went into it. Like you'll get deals like that are funny, and they like kind of like boost your ego a little bit because you're like, I got her. Like I can get anyone. Like she told me that she wasn't gonna like me, and she signed up. Just like people like you never know who's gonna say yes. You'd never know.
Oh, 100%. Oh, what do you think was like the differentiating factor for that deal?
The last guys, when she came out pissed or gave them a hard no, they walked away. Like she didn't take that many like I didn't have to close her that many times. I just had to like, she probably got pitched one time, went through the pitch, guy closed her once. She said no because no one really wants to say yes on the first close.
Yeah.
And then
because they don't want to be sold. Away,
and then she made her decision. Then I don't need pest control. And the next guy showed up and she was like, no, I don't need pest control. I already talked to someone. And that guy was like, all right, have a good one. Walked away. And then that happened 3 more times. And then I came up and was like, and took her through the process, showed her pest control, created the need. Now then closed her more than one time, and she's stoked. Doesn't have ants.
Yeah. Doesn't have ants. We got rid of those ants.
Yeah.
Frick those ants. That's funny because Dallas is also a historically saturated market.
Yeah. They know what door to door is. Like they know.
They're very aware.
Yeah. They are informed for sure.
And it's funny because it's across all industries.
Oh yeah.
Dallas
everything. Like it's like, I'm like, what the heck? Someone was like, they get knocked by everything all the time. Like not as bad in the winter, but they still get knocked. And then in the summer, it's like, I've never knocked there midsummer, but I've heard it's graphic. Like 3 or 4 pest reps in there with a solar kid in your same hood. Like, yeah, there's a lot.
Wild. So going back to Portland now, what would you say, and even just in learning the sales process, what was the most common objection that you did get?
In Portland?
Yeah.
I feel like in Portland, the most common objection was probably just like people just like, for me personally in Portland, honestly, I just feel like people were pretty like superficial. They just didn't really give you the time of day.
Yeah.
Pretty like standoffish in Portland.
They're
liberal.
Really
nice. Yeah. They're really nice, but like Portland was way nice because I've been East Coast. They're way nicer than the East Coast.
Yeah.
But they're they're going to be nice to you, but also try and get you off the porch as fast as possible.
Yeah, they have the East Coast shortness.
Yeah.
But then the Southern, beat around the bush a little bit.
Yeah. They like try and be nice, but they're like nice just to get you to leave.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it was kind of breaking past that like superficialness of like them just trying to get rid of you, but be nice, which is hard because when someone's like really rude, I feel like it's kind of, for me at least, easier to like try and go the rounds.
Yeah.
But when someone comes out and they're really nice, like, thank you so much, but like, we're good. It's like harder kind of to keep going there because they're like nice. And so like, you kind of just want to be like, okay, well, like have a good day.
Yeah.
But you can't because everybody's going to do it. The same thing. They're all going to be really nice, but they're going to try and get rid of you. So I feel like that was just like the we're good, which really to me isn't like necessarily an objection.
Sure.
It's like smokescreen.
Yeah.
But
let's role play that a little bit. So it's like, oh, dude, thank you so much for coming out. Like, I understand, but like, we're totally good.
Yeah, no worries. No one's had any crazy issues, but everyone gets these spider webs. It's like, I'm just going into it. Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to get into my pitch. I'm not trying to like, especially there. It's like right off the bat. Like I'm not. Everything is as big of a deal as you make it.
Yeah.
Like, don't make that a big deal. Make the spider webs a big deal.
Yeah.
If they don't have spider webs, it's like they have seen spider webs. Mm-hmm. It's a brand new house. They're going to get spider webs.
Yeah. Well, I can probably take care of those webs
for sure.
myself.
They'll just come back like they have now. Like we'll knock them down. We'll treat so they don't. That way you don't have to deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
You'll love it.
I can probably just get something at Home Depot.
You can. That stuff just not gonna like. You can come out here and spray it, but you waste your Saturday just to keep on seeing it again. It's just to call in contacts. You're not getting like the source. It's like you're just gonna keep on seeing them because the eggs are just gonna hatch. So when we can take care of it, we'll go to the source. That way they don't just keep coming back. Mm-hmm. Something like that. The biggest thing, and like you can say whatever it is. You can say what I say. You can like. There's 1,000 different ways of like what to say.
Yeah.
Which is good and great.
Yeah.
But what I think is way more important is just like don't make it a big deal. Okay. Nice. Especially if it's early in the pitch. If it's later in the pitch and it comes up multiple times, maybe you got to overcome that.
I need to talk to my wife about it and
for sure.
Get her to sign off on it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Your wife's going to love it just because she's probably not like a huge fan of these spider webs, like most aren't. So she's going to love it because this stuff is going to stay clean and pretty. She's like going to be way stoked about that. I'm sure like she's not going to be too pissed to like not have spider webs, right? So we'll take care of that for you. That way you don't have to deal with it either. And then if they do come back, her favorite part, call us. We'll come back out and we'll get rid of it for you for free.
Well, do you have a card or something you could leave me or something I could call you later?
My job is just get everyone done while I'm here. That we're all on like the same schedule, whatever it is. Like I'll just keep going through it. And like, I can do that all day long and like just say the same thing. Like we could go and do that 10 more times and I'd probably end up saying like pretty much the same thing over again.
Yeah.
Maybe change a few things here or there. But it's just like the biggest thing, whether what objection it is, if it's I'm good, need to talk to my spouse, need a card, this, that, the thousands of objections that you'll get. And people are crafty nowadays with their objections. Like they like, it's like, you thought about it. You think that's your golden ticket to get me off your porch. It's not, dude. Promise.
Well, I got a buddy that does pest control. I'll just have him come out.
It's like, sure. Yeah, no worries. You're still getting these spider webs. Like, they still have something.
Yeah.
Like they still have it. Then it's just a switch over. And then it turns out that their buddy that does pest control moved to like North Dakota like last year. He doesn't even do it anymore. Or like they don't even have a buddy. Or like their buddy has like ortho and like told them to buy it one time. Like it's just not making it as big of a deal. Like it's not a big deal. They're just not sold yet. Yeah. Every time I hear an objection, it's not. When I hear an objection, I'm not like, oh no, he's got to talk to his wife.
Oh crap.
She's at work. She's not here. Oh, well, when will she be back? It's like, they're just going to give you, I don't know. It's like, really? You don't know your wife's going to be home? But she's probably home around the same time most days. She's probably around home the same time most days, right? She usually gets off like a certain time and then you probably know. It's like your wife. You know.
You know like, exactly.
Yeah. You know she's going to be home. Oh, she won't be home all week. Really? All right, I'll come back next. No.
I've heard that one before. It's just like, we're never here.
Every customer is just trying to create an impossible situation to sign up. And so like at the moment you start believing that is like the moment you beat yourself. Like you don't get the deal. So like for me, whenever I hear an objection, it's just like, they're just not sold yet. Keep on going. They're not sold yet. Oh, I need to talk to my wife. They're not sold yet. Keep selling them. Keep going. Yeah. Oh, I need to do this. They're just not sold yet. Keep selling them. Need this. Oh, they're just not sold yet. Keep selling them. Keep showing them, like you'll close them 3 times, tell them about how you take care of ants. Yeah. And then they'll be like, so do you guys do ants? It's like, what did you say you do for like
because they're like, not listening.
They're not listening. It's like, what do you do for the spiders again? It's like, dude, I told you 18 times. We scrub it and then we treat it so they don't come back. We scrub and treat so it doesn't come back. And they're just like, oh, okay. It's like, I don't have to deal with spiders anymore. No spiders. If you see them, call us. We'll come do it again for free.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds pretty nice. It's like, yeah, I told you that. Like, no, I'm kidding you, probably 5 or 6 times. And they just are like, just now being like, oh, I won't have spiders. So you just have to keep, people just don't listen. Just keep going.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of guys that have reservations about repeating themselves or even asking some of the same questions. Yeah. Like I remember I was in a training the other day and I was like, yeah, like how do you avoid like asking the same question over and over? And the guy was just like, I don't worry about that. Yeah. They don't listen. Like, like I have no reservations about asking the same question twice or even repeating myself on anything, because it's like the better that they understand it, and repetition is some other skill, the better they understand it, the more likely they are to buy. Yeah. So it's like, if we're like always worried about like repeating ourselves or saying the same thing twice, it's like, which is exactly what I just did. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, redundant and repetitive just then. But anyways, but still, it's like, you got to get through their heads.
You have to, and you have to get, and it takes longer than you would think.
Yeah.
Like sometimes.
Absolutely.
A lot of the time.
Totally. Yeah. So now I kind of want to speak to and shift gears a little bit, because obviously when you hit a golden door, a really big monumental moment, and you still keep selling for another 2.5 months. Yeah. Why'd you do that?
Because my goal for the summer it was like, obviously I wanted a golden door. And like when I hit it, it was like crazy. Like it was a really, like it felt like when I sold that final account, got it all, tech was on the way. Best feeling ever. Yeah. And it was a little bit weird to like keep knocking that day, because I was like, oh dude, you did a golden door. But then I was like, oh dude, it's the Rumble. Like you're like, yeah, you got a golden door, but you got to go, like it's a Rumble. Like you still got to go. Like
it's competition time,
baby. You're still going. But just, it wasn't the goal. The goal wasn't the golden door, it was 1,000 accounts, 1 million. So I wasn't at that yet. So even though it was way cool and it was like way surreal to like get the golden door and actually like finally do it, something that I've been like looking at for like 3 years, it just wasn't the goal. So it just wasn't satisfied. Yeah, I was stoked, like way stoked. And it was like way cool to hit it, but it wasn't my initial goal. And so I just wasn't there yet. I was like, all right, cool. Well, that was a milestone along the way, but I'm not like to my goal yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you have that kind of endurance?
I think the biggest thing is I committed. It's like I kind of committed in my head to like 2 goals. So my goal was before the summer, 1,000 accounts, $1 million in revenue. I knew my contract value was going to be about 1,000. So it was 1,000 accounts, $1 million in revenue, which is something that like you can control in a way, but you can't necessarily control like how many people say yes. That's ultimately like their decision. You can do more and like get your odds better for them to say yes, and you can be better. But that is like not necessarily completely controllable. What was like I committed to what it took to sell 1,000 accounts. So like I committed to the work it took to get there. And so I knew going into the summer that I was totally prepared to knock until Halloween. I was totally prepared to knock until November. I would have been out there. Like if I wouldn't have hit it by Halloween and it would have been Thanksgiving, I don't think I go home for Thanksgiving, because I was committed to that. Like I was totally committed to the work it took to get to 1,000 accounts and 1 million. And that was also a goal. So every day it was like, okay, cool, dude, I want to sell this much. But then even if I sell this much, I have another goal of working all the hours, controlling my inputs. Those are my other goals, which is sick, because then say you go out, your goal is to sell 10. You get 10 by 5 o'clock. Cool, dude, you hit your goal, go home. So you already hit your goal for the day, like go home. But it's like when you have a goal to sell 10, but then also work from 12:30 to dark. Cool, I got 10 by 5, but I still got 4.5 hours till dark. So I haven't hit that goal yet. So I still got to go and hit that goal. So it didn't matter. And then if it's on a day where like, oh, you wanted to get 10, but you only got 5 that day. So you had a really bad day, so like 2 or 3. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't hit this goal, but I can still stack a W. I worked my ass off all day. Yeah. I still hit my goal of knocking.
Yeah, you can walk away with a badge still.
I still am stacking that win. I still get a win out of the day because I still hit one of the goals I have. Because
and guys, notice a bad day is 2 or 3. Yeah, that's a bad day.
The days when you're like, I'm at my first day. I sold my first day, April like 2nd. It's cold. Portland was way cold, but I was like trying to come out swinging. And I sold 2, and I remember writing down in my journal, I was just like 998 left, or like 2 of 1,000, and it was so daunting. just like 2 of 1,000. I was like, all right, well, like, let's go. Like, I'm here until I hit it. So there's 2 less that I have to do. Just 1 deal at a time. 2 are down.
Love it. Love it. Well, dude, we're going to have to wrap up, but any parting words for the industry before we let you go?
Yeah, I mean, I love the door-to-door industry. It's changed my life. It's like the dumbest thing in the world. Like, we're just a big, like, we
just walk around and talk to people.
We walk around and talk to people and sell them pest control alarm, whatever it is.
Make a lot of money doing it somehow.
Yeah. Huge plug. I think anyone, like, 2 main things, I guess, like, sell. Like, no matter what it is, obviously I sell at the grit. So, like, if you ask me, like, where should they sell at the grit? But if you're asking me if you should sell in general, sell. Even if it's like solar, pest, whatever it is, sell, do it. And then the other thing is for people who want to go out and hit like big goals, take committing to your goal like super seriously. If you say you're going to do 1,000, don't just like say you're going to do 1,000 and then not. Like if you say you're going to do a goal, like take it super seriously with yourself. Because when you set a goal, and I've felt it, when you set a goal and you don't go out and do it and you know that you left like stuff on the table, it's like not a good feeling.
It's haunting.
It's super haunting, and it just sucks. Like it eats away. It's like way harder to be confident if like you know that you told yourself you were going to do a golden door and then you don't, which is a tough pill to swallow. But take your goals super seriously, and when you set a goal, like don't give up on it.
Yeah.
Stay out there until it's done, because the feeling of hitting a goal, and it's like better than anything. Even like no one thinks you're going to do it. All the things like that is just like going to be a hell of a story. Like Julian Edelman, people saying I'm doing it, going to be a hell of a story. It's a hell of a story.
Do it for the story.
Yeah, like it's a like to in the cold, in this, that, whatever, late in the season, it'll be worth it every time.
Absolutely. Well, dude, this has been absolutely incredible, guys. I hope you were taking tons of notes. A lot of takeaways here. This has been the Golden Door Deep Dive. Keep tuning in for more tips and tricks on how you can be a Golden Door winner.